Hey guys, this is Chan here. In my last video, I said I was going to do reviews of Arrow, which is Pilot and Honor Thy Father. I just couldn't think of anything to say, and it's just too epic for me to try and fit into a very tight video. So I'm going to start from the third episode on, which I still haven't seen yet. I'm going to see it soon, and try and do a review. Also, in my last video, I said I was going to have a special guest with me, my partner in cosplay and other things. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Ivory Lilith, and as she said, we cosplay together, and we're also wanting to partner on YouTube videos and cosplay advice, things like that. So I will be appearing and possibly making my own videos on this channel in time.
Like, if we go to a con together, we are going to try and do videos and show about the convention, just say how good it is or anything about it. So first off, this is a pre-con video. Before you go to the convention, you have to do this stuff, or it's not going to go too well for you. Or it could. You never know. For us, it's kind of been not so good, so that's why we want to make this video.
Yeah, we like planning.
Yeah. Planning is a big part. So first off, choose a con. And you want to choose one that's close to you. Like, I chose one in Louisville. And it's just really close. I didn't have to drive that far. And I went there for like 7 years. And it's just been amazing.
My first con was Segoy Con, which is a little bit of a drive for me, but I went with friends. It made it more comfortable for me to be around. So, the closeness, it depends on the situation and how adventurous you are and
Yeah,
things like that.
When I went to, starting out for cosplaying for me, or going to a con, I was totally by myself. I had my sister, but we didn't really stay together because she had other friends, so I was totally on my own with this. But it turned out okay. I learned, and I've grown. And our next thing is
the size of the con. I mean, as well as the closeness, you have to think about how big the con's going to be and how comfortable you're going to be in big groups versus small groups with big crowds. My bigger cons, I've been to Dragon Con, and that is 5 hotels all over, and it was crazy crowded. Even then, there was no room, and it was a bit of an overload for me.
Yeah.
But
I think the biggest con I've been to so far has been OhioCon, and that's a little further away for me, so it was a big experience for me. It was amazing, though. I had more friends and all that. And then I also been to LNGCon, which is a little bigger than AnimeCon here in Louisville, which is at the main library every year. And I was with 1 or 2 friends, and then other friends were there. It was different, but I wasn't overloaded. I had more time to get used to it, and it was just amazing after the first year. And then I went back to a small con, which was Chisai-Con, which is in Shepherdsville. It's a little further away, but it's still close to me. It was nice. I knew the people that started it, and then I went to EvilCon. It was kind of slow the first day, and I only went the first day, but it was still good. And then I went, like I said, to OhioCon, and then I went to Derby City Con, which is another thing, is a type of con. Derby City is a Comic-Con convention. It was my first time going to one. It was kind of small, but it was still kind of big. It grew after the first year. But there's different types of cons, so make sure you choose a con that you want to go to, like a type of con. If you want to go to Comic-Con, choose a comic convention. If you want to go to anime convention, choose an anime convention. If you want to go to a gaming con, like I know Blizzard has one, I've never been. Dragon Con is actually a type with all them mixed in.
It did start out as a game con, but it's grown more into anime, which I tend to stick with anime cons because I like cosplay. And the gaming cons are pretty cool too, though. So it all depends on what your fan base is.
Yeah. I really love comics and I really love anime, so I kind of do both, or I'm trying to do both now. So that's something to think about.
And when you're choosing a con, you want to think about the group that you're going with and who all would want to go. I've had people, like, they said they would go to a con with me, but they didn't want to go to the con, and it wasn't fun for either of us because they didn't want to be there, and I wanted to share it with somebody that wanted to be there.
And also, don't go with someone that kind of puts down the con if you really like the con, if you've been there before. Like, one person would say, oh, this rave is not so good. It's not better than blah, blah, blah. Who cares? It's something to do. It's something to have fun. It's just to have fun. That's basically what a con is. If you want to go have fun, just have fun. And then think about the voice actors or the artists that are there. I know OMG Con, the reason I really wanted to go was because the voice of Gur was there. And he still is. He was amazing.
And one of the big reasons I went to Dragon Con, I'm a really big Harry Potter fan, and my favorite character is Tom Felton's Draco Malfoy. So he was there one year, I had to go.
And what about when you went to Italy?
Yes, I have been talking to friends. I met some people that were really good cosplayers in Italy. I really looked up to them. And I went to a convention in Italy to go meet them. And although we did still have a bit of a language barrier, it was really fun.
It was a nice experience for her.
Yeah, it was a big experience.
And that's another thing. If you want to go meet a cosplayer that you really look up to, don't be stalking them, but if you really want to say hi and be like, you're amazing, try and find a con that they go to. If you've been to more than one, don't go to your first one and be like, trying to meet this person. It's really huge. Like if you want to meet Yaya, I know she goes to a lot of the big cons. When I chose OhioCon, I was trying to go because she went last year. She had an amazing time. And then there was also another group, Intermind Theater. I wasn't really sure if they were going that year, but I got to meet them. I was like, you all are amazing. It was just a nice experience to meet them. It was the first time I ever met a cosplay group that I looked to. So something like that, something to think about too.
And mentioning cosplay groups, when you're thinking about your con choice, you also need to think about if you do want to cosplay, and if you do, what you might want to cosplay.
And if you want to do it with a group.
Yes, if you have a group. The first time I cosplayed, I did cosplay at my first convention. The group that invited me to SegoyCon was doing an Invader Zim group. So we did do a group cosplay. Everybody that was going was one of the characters, and I was actually Gur. I was really proud of that because I loved it. It's one of my favorite characters from cartoons that I grew up on. But
my first con, like I said, it was back in like 2004, so I've been doing this for a while. I dressed as Toru from Fruit Baskets, and then I went to Miyanka from Fujiga Yugi. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. And then my first group was actually, I think, Soul Eater. I was dressed as Liz Thompson, but then our person that wanted to do it, she didn't dress up as her character, so it kind of went through. And then I did Katara, but like future version of her, and I had like a little bit of a group of that. So something like that is important. Make sure you don't let someone ruin it for you if they don't want to do the cosplay.
yeah, the groups is a little bit harder to do because people always have different mindsets with it. They end up not liking it or not wanting to do it, so they decide to do something on their own. And when you're in cosplay, you have to remember, not everybody is as accepting of it.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
You probably will get weird looks in regular public if you are close enough to walk to the con or in the hotel that you're at, things like that.
Yeah, or the thing about a group is if more than one person wants to do the same person as a cosplay, you have to deal with that. And, like, she was saying, if the weirdness, my family does not get why I dress up. They still kind of bash me about it, but I have, like, good friends to help me through it. If y'all want to know more about that, trying to get through it, or how to deal with it, just comment below and we're trying to do a video on that. I think her family accepts her for doing it, but my family is really old-fashioned, so that's kind of why I have a little bit of a problem with cosplay, but I'm over it and I'm still dealing with it. Our next point is pre-reg.
When you go to a con, there's always a registration line. When you pre-reg for a con before the day of, it's usually cuts off, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before the con, depending on which one it is. The lines are typically shorter, and they move a little faster.
Yeah. Standing in line without pre-reg, it could take hours, maybe 6 or 7. Pricing, it goes from, like, it might start at $25. Like, now for OMG, I think it might be $25.
Yeah.
And it gets cut off by December.
And I know MTAC is one that I went to. I pre-regged in December the last time I went. It was like $25. At the door, it's $45.
Yeah, that's the same for OMG. I know OhioCon, I waited till, like, maybe the last week of December. It was $50. And it's $55 at the door, so I got $5 off.
And so the longer you wait, the more money it will cost.
Yeah.
And the bigger the con,
The higher it's going to be.
The higher it's going to be, and the bigger the line's going to be.
Yeah. There's also group pricing. If you have more than 10 people, it could be $10 a person. That's really good to do if you do it early on.
If you have that big of a group.
And then our next one is hotel.
Booking the hotel, I'm usually the one that does that with the cons that I go to and the people I invite. When you look at a hotel room, you have to think about how many people are going to be in it compared to the size of the actual hotel and its rules.
Yeah. I've only booked a hotel once, and I paid for it basically by myself. No one paid me. That's something else you have to do. Make sure everyone pays. It's a pain because most of my money was spent basically just for the hotel room. I couldn't buy things I wanted. Like, I maybe bought, like, this wig. That's about it.
Yeah, you really have to pick trustworthy people as far as the finances go, because it's hard to pay for, like, depending on the hotel chain and where it's at.
Yeah.
I've paid $500 one weekend for a hotel room just for one con, and they had ended up, nobody paid me back for it when I had 6 people in the room.
Yeah, like, I told her when we went to OMG Con last year, I will help pay because I know that's a pain. I don't want someone just to be paying. I feel useless, and it's not nice to do to the other person. Something else is make sure it's close to the con. That is important, and because if you're far away, you can get into a wreck, traffic, stuff like that.
Yeah, and with that too, the longer you stay at the con, the more you have to drive afterwards too, and everybody gets tired. Like, after the rave, people don't leave till 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's hard to drive back if you're going a few miles. But
Yeah. Unless you have good people that keep you awake and go like, wake up, wake up, wake up. And then
a really important thing that I try to look for is hotels that offer a breakfast.
yeah, because you are gonna be tight on money, and it's nice to actually have food already cooked for you.
Yeah, you get a good breakfast because at the con, a lot of people either don't have money or don't think about eating all day.
Or they don't eat. They just choose not to.
Yeah, which has been an issue with some of our groups before. People forget to eat and they end up passing out.
Yeah.
So a good breakfast is always good.
And eat during the con. Bring snacks for the hotel room and water. Like, I'm drinking water right now because...
Keep hydrated.
Yeah. Because you can pass out from that. Especially, like, at Otakon, I know someone gets really dehydrated there, and it can really be bad.
Yeah, Otakon is in the middle of July. I went one time, and thankfully it was the last one I did, and it was only for about 15 minutes. But I wore long sleeve and pants leather as a cosplay. I was sweating like I have never before.
Yeah, that's something else about cosplaying. Make sure you choose a cosplay that isn't going to be like Lucy, her bandages in winter. Not fun.
Yeah. Definitely weather-oriented cosplays.
Yeah. Like,
be safe.
The one I wore for Katara, I was burning up in that, and I was in the building. It was June. It wasn't that hot, but it can get pretty hot no matter what cosplay you're wearing.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Staffing at con, that's important too if you go to a con. If you've heard reviews about it, about the staff,
which we plan on doing reviews for the ones we go to.
I think that's about it though.
I believe so.
So until next time, guys. Bye.